Ever felt that you're stuck, always uncertain what's going to happen? Are you even going to advance at some point? Maybe juggling in too many relationships, partners, afraid to fully commit to anyone, someone, opportunities. All of that with the fear that you might lose freedom in the process. What if I told you that not committing to anyone or something might be the exact thing that's holding you back eventually? I will review by committing to the right person or the right opportunity, cause, you can name it, can unlock you more opportunities than you've ever imagined than if you're stuck on your own. But there is a catch. Committing too soon or committing to the wrong person could trap yourself in a position where there's only one way. It is to accept it, your faith. So I'll show you how to avoid making these mistakes and why committing to the right person becomes a success. So keep watching and I'll teach you why you need to follow this. So let me get to the first thing, which is if you commit to the right person, you gain access to resources and influence. If you open up to a group and you join them, you join what they have. So if you join Elon Musk, you join a whole company of people that are like-minded. And then they can help you achieve your goals faster. So let's say you join that company and you work there as a mechanic. Then you have 5 mechanics that they all know all about cars. So then if you want to know and progress faster than learning it yourself, you can just hop on with them and learn it. That's why it gives you a time advantage. And also when you commit yourself with being stable, creating a foundation that can provide long-term benefits. Because if they start to like you, if you fall in good with them, what's the next thing that's going to happen? They're going to do favors for you. You create allies rather than enemies, in fact. And also increase visibility. If there's a higher position up, and you show you're there, you perform you're there, you show that you're worth it to continue with, the opportunities are just flushing in. It's like a flood wave with opportunities. It also shows loyalty and trust. Committing shows that you're loyal, that you're ready to sacrifice everything that you have. So let's say if you need to work on a ship and do that job, you get 100 grand for the job for doing it. What is it? A whole year. 1 year. Let's take that. But why does it get paid so much for someone that does the same job but gets 60k in 1 year? As said, some things aren't viable. In fact, it is viable. It's not truly out of a person. Love, you can buy it. If you buy a gold digger, you have that love. Only it's not real love. So why does one person get more than the other person for doing the exact same job? Only the place is different. 60k, 1 year, 100k. Well, he has to sacrifice everything in it. He shows loyalty. He's getting the 40k from loyalty. And therefore it builds trust. So if you continue, you get more and more and more, because then it is rewarding. They see it as a long-term investment, actually. But there are good sides. There are positive things. But there are bad things. If I show you a little sneak peek of that, everything has a reaction. And also has to do with this. Committing to someone may be good, but staying on yourself, on your own, can just be as good. Because independence equals power. If you are a country that is controlled by the Netherlands, you need to follow every rule that it has. And if you create on your own, you can decide on your own what's going to happen. Therefore, it creates power. You become tied to someone's battles, rules, ways of thinking. While staying neutral or going for yourself, you have that in your hand. You have all the power in your hand what you can decide. That is why if you join a company, you need to follow what's theirs. But if someone joins you, you can decide what they need to do. That is why independence, it has more power eventually. Only the way to make it work is much harder. The progression, the amount of work you need to do is so much more than doing it with someone else. But it also makes you stop from being dragged into conflicts that they have or enemies that they have. If you join that and they have enemies, those enemies do not want to work with you anymore because you've committed to them. And it comes to my example, which is a real life example for most of you. If you have a conflict between two persons you like, two friends actually, and they say pick a side. As I said, if you pick John, he's fighting with Rick, you take John, you have Rick against you. It goes for the same route. So then what you want to do is staying neutral. Or help them both. If you stay neutral, you cannot damage someone else. But there's another benefit of staying on your own. It increases your worth. If people see that you're not easily won over, or that it's hard to get you, what is the first reaction they will do? Let's think about that for 10 seconds. The first thing they will do is to try and win your loyalty. What is something that every person wants in their life? Money. They want money. So what is going to happen? They're going to increase their offer. So if you have two jobs and you're doubting, You're doubting. First one offers you 70. Second one offers you 75. Then you're doubting. Which one do I want to take? So after a while, the first company goes like, no, we're not going to do that. Now what we're going to do? We're offering you 77. If you disclose that information to the second company, what's going to happen? We're not going to do that. We'll take it to 82 for you. They're just playing cat and mouse all the way until someone says it's done. But if you're waiting, not too much. If you wait too much, eventually they will lose hope in you. You need to wait. If it is a big decision, which I will come to that, wait 2 to 5 months maximum. So now we get to the third thing, because it was actually my example. And it has to do with the enemy side of it. Less enemies equals more opportunities. If you're staying neutral, or you do not pick a side at all, you cannot harm as many people. It also means that you have not the same amount of loyal friends, but it means that you're not making enemies. Making enemies is far more dangerous than having those small friends that you can build with. As I said, taking a side creates enemies and friends instantly. It's the same with if I want to switch to Jumbo. What are you going to think? You've worked for 3 years for another store that is our competitor, and now you want to work for us? Man, what are you thinking? Go away. That's how easy it is. You avoid these unnecessary conflicts. But we come to my example actually. Let's say your friends are in a political issue or social issue, and you need to choose a side. They do not give you the option of staying neutral, actually. When you commit that is one person, you risk damaging the other. That's why if you stay neutral, and that means setting clear boundaries for yourself. People cannot force you if you do not want to. You just hold your ground. And when you hold your ground, you make sure that you have your inner circle of friends stable. Well, being independent has one benefit as well. It makes sure you stay unpredictable. People cannot tell when you're true loyal to something because they do not have the full commitment of you. They can manipulate you because what is there to manipulate if you're not joining in that process? This forces them with one simple thing to do. Treat you with respect and caution. Because if they think they're loyal, that you're loyal, and they treat you around, then for them, you are the bad person now. You see them as, what the fuck are you doing, man? You're ruining yourself eventually. I was not there. But when them look silly and if that comes out, it creates a backlash of things to the higher persons. But if we need to take that in an example, if an employer thinks you're 100% committed to your job and they have no intention to raise their offer, what's going to be when you say, maybe I think of switching? He has one choice now to make. Either to give you that raise, or he is losing a valued customer, a valued employee. So what you need to do is do not show you're fully committed. No, you need to make it unclear that you want to stay. That is what I had done. I was in the moment of, I want to join the police force, which I said out loud, and there was no offer coming in. Then I got rejected, and I was like, what am I going to do? I'm going to explore. And my boss instantly came, I have this promotion for you. And then I was doubting, do I want it? Do I want it? I let him wait 3 months. And he was like, I can push everything. Oh, you can push everything? No, you have a deal. So in that way, I did not choose, I did not commit to a side, and then it showed the benefits coming in. And the last thing is adaptability is your key. power dynamics are always shifting, and committing too early makes it impossible to back out of it. You're stuck in the same place. You can lose everything or you can gain everything. But if you stay flexible, you make sure that the risks you take are less. That comes to my example. Let's say your best friend starts a business. He wants to go in horse riding. Let's take that. So he needs to invest 20k for the startup, and he asks you to dump all your savings in him to invest in it, which is 15k. Now, if it means the business grows, you own 75% of it, while he owns 25. So if the business continues to grow and reaches 1 million, you have made this amount, and he has made this amount. You have made 750,000, he 250,000. So then your investment has paid thousands of percentages over. But if he loses and he does not get a startup, which without a clear plan, without clear way of thinking, and it's just, I'm going to do this, the risks that you take of losing that money are guaranteed eventually. Now we come to the point, you know why it's good to have that person, to have that job, the opportunities, why it is important that you also stay a bit independent, so you mix both worlds into the best recipe. But how do you prevent from choosing a side too early eventually? Well, you maintain a neutral stance. If you commit 100%, you cannot back out of it anymore. The damage has already been done. Staying neutral, the 50-50 balance, gives you the best playroom. As I said, setting clear boundaries. Do not get pushed into a choice you do not want to make. Staying true to yourself, that is the key decision you need to take. Keep your options open. Have that playroom around you. Do not be fully committed, because then your only offers you're going to get is from that same boss. If you let the playroom, you can have the options from the boss, another company, maybe another company, maybe they raise it. You make sure that you can change how you want. Delay big decisions, as I said. Take your time. Time is key. So if you're taking long and long and long, they're going to be thinking, fuck man, I need to close him now. Otherwise it's going to be too long. So you're changing and changing and changing while waiting and waiting and waiting, and they're going to think, fuck man, I need him now, I give him this. And don't be afraid to say no. As I said, always say more no than yeses in your life. Saying yes has ruined more lives than a no. So now you know why you need to commit to a site, when to commit to a site, when you need to back out of a site, and when you need to stay independent for yourself. So that was everything that I want to say, and I hope to see you in my next video.